We've been told so many things that aren't true that we believe, like that we want animals to have a natural fear of us. This is not true. Or that we're not supposed to interfere or feed nature. This is not true. Our ancestors were deeply connected to nature, and they listened to every sound and knew every creature and every tree. When I was a little girl, I used to go to these woods, and I used to love going to these woods. I could tell the forest, I mean, obviously the forest is alive, right? And going and feeling that, like being in life, was so amazing. And we got to admit, like when we're in our home and we feel kind of shamanaba, we don't want that. We don't want a shabadaba. That's a hibbita jibbit in the spine. We want to feel a scuba numa. And a scuba numa comes from being out in nature and feeling the ski malaise of the trees and the doobadoos of the feathers on the birds and the bugs. And if you notice, like spiders and bugs, and they don't mind us. A lot of them like us. And if we want them to be afraid of us, like, you know, when we're like, they're afraid of us and we're afraid of them, like, that's a lie. That's like people who were afraid and projecting fear. But we are not afraid. We are brave and strong. And we are also not territorial. We love and include nature. It's time that we like rewrite our programming, because we don't agree with our ancestors. We also don't believe that that we're separate and supposed to control nature. We know that we're part of nature. We also know we need nature. We know we need biodiversity. We know about grounding. We know about tree bathing. We also know that when you build stuff out of dead stuff, then bugs come to eat and break up that dead stuff, because that's what our bugs are for. So if we know all of this, then maybe we could get better with what we do. Like, let's not build stuff out of dead stuff, and let's not have concrete everywhere and homes that don't ground us to the earth if we have to ground. And also let's have homes that are in living organic material. And the major lie, once we give up this lie, the whole planet will be free. And that lie is that you can own. And the truth is, you cannot own anything. That we are simply stewards and vessels, just transporting and caring for and pollinating and biodiversifying. Like, we're just meant to move things around the planet, and we're meant to move around the planet. We are not here to own and control. And this is really important, because I want you to think about the shift that would happen in us and our behavior and how our way of being, when we believe that we belong to everything. When we believe that we are a part of nature and not meant to fear nature and have nature fear us, but that we are meant to be interconnected and a part of nature. And how would we act if someone came like close to where we live? And how do we act if we believe that that is our property and that is our home and we have a right and we paid for it and earned it? Versus how would we act if we know that we have a universal need for shelter, and that shelter is there because we need it. And the community and the ecosystem and the universe and the earth, like, we have trust in all of it. We have trust in each other and our planet and nature. And we know that our universal needs will be provided for. And this is our home. And that's because we have a need. So how would we behave when someone comes to our home then, when we don't believe that we own it and it's just because we have a need? We're more likely it's going to be more about like, I need boundaries and space, versus like, this is my land, my territory. So if it's more about like, I need boundaries and space, then we're more likely to just leave and go find another friend if this person doesn't want to go. And that's okay. Like, if so much of our energy goes into defending and deflecting and fighting and being territorial, we are not following the way. And the way is to be the least resistance, the least force, and the most love and the most care. And if we ask ourselves, what is the most loving, what is the most caring, like, what does God want, what does nature want, then we'll see we're not supposed to like fight so hard. So much of our energy goes into fighting and controlling, and it takes way more of our energy to fight and control than it does to just love each other. So my beautiful vision for a more wonderful world where everyone can thrive in spiritual joy, ecstasy, bliss, and pleasure most of the day, with just short little bursts of unpleasant emotions to bring us back. I believe that all we need is to shift our way of thinking from merit-based systems. First, we have to change our belief system. So some of the lies that we've been told, we got to acknowledge, we don't like these beliefs. We don't want them. These are lies, and we actually believe this more loving, inclusive world, and we believe a world that cares for all of life, and a world where we all take care of each other instead of taking care of ourselves or taking care of our own. And when we live that world, then we start to be more generous and more giving, and we realize, hey, superhero. We realize it's all about, I only have 4 minutes left on this. It's more about our generosity and what we give to each other. What I give, I don't use money at all. So sometimes the universe gives me stuff and I move objects around. I was able to give all good, everything from clothes to skateboards. So I'm always giving gifts, but those come from the universe. I do not use any money at all. But most of my gifts just come from being affectionate and being loving and nurturing. That's what I'm really good at. And I love to run up to the city workers and tickle torture them and love them and hug them. And I love to make friends and connect deeply by finding out what people are feeling and needing. I also love to bring people together and introduce people to each other. And these are all different ways that I'm able to help, that I'm able to be generous. And I trust in the flow of the universe to receive generosity. I go with nothing except the vulnerability of my needs. This world is going to be really brave though, because most of us have this deeply ingrained fear that if we are in debt, then we can be enslaved, because that is how it used to be. They used to have debtors prison, and if you owed someone money, they could enslave you, and we had way more, there was just way more violence. We're not in that time though. We are at a level now where our technology and information has basically taken us to the point now where we can have a world of lavish abundance and no more wars, and we can live a life with no rules or laws or governors or rulers or leaders. We've already seen that this world exists in the 12 steps, and it is called need-based self-governing fellowships. The 12 steps are need-based self-governing fellowships. People attune to each other based off what the need is, and the needs are in the 12 steps. What step are you on? If someone has a need to go to court or get picked up or have someone go to their house to pour their alcohol out, alcoholics will attune to needs. There's even a hotline where complete strangers will go help you out of the love and care of their heart. We know 911 does not do this. They just send people, and if there's something wrong, then they will punish or do the bare minimum. We all know this. There is not care in our hospitals. There is not care in our police and our social workers. And I'm not talking about the individuals. I'm talking about the systems themselves. They are designed to have professionals, and the definition of a professional is someone who does not show emotion. And emotion is what makes us connect and care and be human. So we need self-governing systems instead. Jig is up. It's time for us to be happy. We're suffering. We're stressed out. We need to acknowledge we're suffering, stressed out, and separated. And what we want instead is to be together, living in lavish abundance in a world that works.